Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be kind of special because we've officially reached the end of the journey. This is it, Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn, the final entry in a series that's been equal parts hype, clunky, weird, awesome, and absolutely overflowing with mobile suit chaos. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what to expect going into this one. Gundam Warriors 1? A cool proof of concept. You could tell the team was figuring it out. It had the energy, but it needed direction. Gundam Warriors 2? A huge step forward, until the mobile armors showed up and tanked the pacing. But that's besides the point, it was still fun. And Gundam Warriors 3. Peak. Just pure dopamine. Everything clicked. The combat, the customization, and the faction-based story. It was the first time it really felt like a Gundam and Warriors finally synced up in a beautiful game. So naturally, I came into Reborn with just one big question. Can it top 3? Is this a proper finale, or just more of the same? Because here's the thing. Reborn isn't just the next chapter. It's the last one, the final note, the closing act in a wild thruster-blazing trilogy plus one. Some games feel like they're part of a franchise. Others feel like an epilogue to something larger, a final mission, a last hurrah. Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn is the latter. It doesn't open with a bang or even a dramatic shift in formula. What it does is let you know, quietly and confidently, that this is the end. That after all the energy beams, exploding Zakus, and years of crossover chaos, the series has one last ride left in it, and it's going out on its own terms. Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn is more than just the final entry in a long-running spin-off. It's the end of an era, the last thruster burst in a strange but beautiful legacy of games that mashed up the chaotic crowd-clearing combat of Dynasty Warriors with the sprawling lore of the Gundam universe. Reborn wasn't just another sequel. It was a closing statement. So without further ado, let's get into Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn. Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn was released on December 19th of 2013 in Japan and July 1st, 2014 everywhere else. From the moment you boot it up, it's clear that Reborn is trying to be the most complete, content-rich experience in the series, featuring over 120 mobile suits across every major timeline, from the original Universal Century to Seed, 00, Turn A, G Gundam, and even more. It's the largest roster the franchise ever assembled. Reborn doesn't just give you the fan favorites like the Grandpa himself, the Strike Freedom, or the 00 Riser. It goes deeper, bringing in suits like the Methis, the Gaia Gundam, or the V2 Gundam, each with their own playstyle and moveset, and often for the first time in the series. Even more obscure are secondary suits. They finally get their due, and the sense of variety is immense here. The combat engine reflects that same ambition. Core Musou mechanics remain. Light and heavy strings, enemy bases, ace pilot duels, but everything is sharper. Brand new to this game is the Burst mode. It redefines the tempo, giving players a speed boost and allowing advanced cancel chains. Not only that, each pilot comes with their own special Burst mode skill. So let's take a look at Kira for a second. Kira's skill allows him to not lose any thruster when he's in Burst mode. Or Benager Lynx, when he uses his Burst mode, he gains a little back after he uses it. It's just really cool how that system works. I like the system a lot. Not only that, it also makes all your characters stronger. Most of the time, if it's not really anything interesting, it's just like longer beam sabers or like just longer AoE effects. But in the case of Unicorn or the 00 Riser, it's Trans Am and the Destroy mode, which is absolutely cool, awesome. I really like this change. It's so cool. Like, it's honestly really cool. You can string light attacks into burst cancels, reset with a dash, and then dive back into melee. For skilled players, every fight becomes a showcase of creativity. Speaking of changes, Muso attacks have seen a brand new change that I absolutely adore, I'm not gonna lie. First, you got your basic ground Muso attack, the one that you're used to from every other game by now. Then your air is the exact same one as well. But now, while you're in burst mode, you get an additional one called Partner Muso. At the beginning of every mission, you can choose to either have a pilot or, brand new to this game, a ship accompany you as a partner. When you use burst mode and your Muso attack, you'll use your Muso attack, and then your partner will use theirs. When it comes to ships, they do an insanely massive AoE attack, like the Rock Hylum drops a nuke, or the Archangel shoots a barrage of missiles in front of you. It's insane. Or you could have the regular one, where it's just another pilot that uses their Muso attack. So it's honestly whatever you want to pick. It's awesome. But not only that, guess what's finally returned to Gundam Warriors? That's right, the leveled Muso attacks. Yes, I know, the ones from the first game are technically back, but also not, but it's technically the same thing. Essentially, while you're leveling up, when your pilot reaches level 30 and your suit has 2 or more Muso gauge, you're able to hold down the Muso button and charge up to 2 bars, which lets you unleash an even stronger Muso attack on your ground. Only ground. This only works for ground. But it's absolutely insane that you're able to do this. I love this change. This is amazing. There's so much crowd control in this game. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's so many things here that you can use to challenge even tougher missions. So tough sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these missions were tough for me to play through. But it really adds a layer of personalization to your loadout. And speaking of loadouts, that's where Ultimate Mode comes in, because that is the home for every loadout. But before we really talk about Ultimate Mode, we have to talk about Official Mode. It's back, so we have to talk about it. That's right, baby. Official Mode is back. From what we had in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, where it was the original mode, story mode, now we're back to the regular official mode. However, there's a lot more here. We get stages from the OG Gundam, the Zeta Gundam movie, skipping Double Zeta, Char's counterattack, Unicorn, and brand new, never before seen, not just UC in the story mode. That's right. The story mode now has a brand new era, and that's the Cosmic Era in Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. As much as I don't really care for Gundam Seed, that's absolutely awesome to see. New stuff is it's awesome. Come on. But like before, you'll revisit legendary battles like Abawaku, the attack on Jaburo, and the destruction that the Destroy Gundam leaves behind in Seed Destiny. Each presented with updated mission structures and reimagined cutscenes. In past entries, these story missions often felt short, is probably the best way to put it. Bite-sized, linear, but Reborn completely changes that. Official mode missions are longer, more involved, and often feature mid-stage twists like reinforcements from enemy factions, surprise boss fights, heck, maybe even sometimes a secondary force will show up on the field. But the coolest change is swapping your playable character to another character at a certain point. They did this a couple of times throughout the story mode, specifically with Seed and Seed Destiny, but this was really cool to see, I'm not gonna lie. Not only that, you also have your typical anime game stereotype thing where it's the story before a mission plays through screen caps and whatnot, but I like how bite-sized it is. It gets to the point of everything that's important, skips over all the useless stuff, so I don't really mind it. But clearly, the design was to immerse players in not just the combat, but in also the timelines themselves, and I think this is awesome. But yeah, your character selection is usually fixed in these missions, reinforcing narrative structure. You'll pilot stuff like the Grandpa's Amuro in the original One Year War. Then when you move on to Zeta, you're in the Zeta in Grips. And eventually, you'll be able to play Benager in the Unicorn, looking for the Laplace box. And yeah, Seed and Seed Destiny are as robust as those missions are. You get to cover very important stuff, like the fight over Orb and the fight over both nuclear satellite things. I forgot what they were, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is a sense of escalation in how the missions are laid out. Early maps ease you into simple objectives, short linear push, low tier aces. But as you progress through the story mode, the game starts layering systems, simultaneous base defenses, multiple ace duels, mission timers, and full-scale battlefield reversals. It's not just more enemies, it's more pressure. Reborn makes you feel like you're fighting a war, and it's true. Whenever there's like a satellite laser being shot out from, I don't know, like grips, or from those satellites from Seed, or from the solar the solar thing from the original Gundam, that actually happens. You can get caught in the blast and it does damage. It's really cool. This is honestly awesome. The presentation is also quite the step up. Cutscenes are voiced, unfortunately just in Japanese, but it's alright. Using character portraits and signature lines from the anime, as you do. Like, these aren't just cinematic masterpieces, but they bring energy and context, grounding the chaos in familiar Gundam emotion. Unfortunately, from everything I've seen, there is like actual like music from the shows, like how Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 did it. But unfortunately, like Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, everything I saw was just the Japanese version of the game, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And best of all, finishing these story arcs isn't just for the sake of lore. It unlocks pilots and suits that you'll want to bring into Ultimate Mode. So even when you're here for the sandbox chaos, official mode is still the foundation. It's where you learn the ropes, see the timeline unfold, and build up the cast that fuels everything that comes after. Which, I would like to bring up one more thing. I hate that it took us this long to finally see it, but guess what's finally playable? That's right, baby! Mobile armors are playable! After you beat a story mode where a mobile armor appears, there is a special mission that unlocks that lets you play as the mobile armor. And it's awesome. After you beat it, you unlock the mobile armor. It's so sick. They're kind of suck. Like, they suck to play, but like, it's so cool to finally see. Like, I mean, there's one mission like where you play as the Destroy. I got like 4,000 enemies beat. I was like, it's insane just how much like stuff you can do. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. We gotta keep going with this video. But it's Ultimate Mode that lets the series really cut loose. Freed from canon, it allows for chaotic team-ups, like Domon and Atherin leading a charge, or Camille and Setsuna defending a base from a Zeon strike force. Ultimate Mode is usually a blend of a bunch of random missions thrown together with separate objectives that let you get more rewards depending on if you beat them. Like, let's say one mission is beating a certain amount of enemies in a certain amount of time. One of the DLC missions is literally beat 10,000 enemies in a certain amount of time. Like, huh? That's insane. I actually recorded the whole mission. It took me like 37 minutes to complete. That's insane. But it was pretty fun. You know, you also have your time-based missions, your base missions, your follow missions, your rendezvous missions, you know, your basic like warrior style missions for these Ultimate Mode stuff. But what makes them really cool is the fact that it's like a small crossover that like tells its own story. Like, one of them is the crew from Double Zeta teaming up with Garrett to make some money. Or like the first one, the tutorial Ultimate Mode, where Bright basically teaches every single main character Gundam pilot the basics. It's really fun to see. I don't know, this whole thing is just it's so they just had so much fun with it. Like, there's this whole game is just oozing fun, and I can't blame it for it. Let's look at the customization though. However, I was kind of going off on a bit of a tangent before. Like the previous game, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, pilot levels and suits are separated. Unlike Gundam Warriors 3 where it had the plan system, Gundam Reborn brings back the dreaded part system from 2. but it makes it so much better. Like every other game, while you're fighting in the actual levels, you'll obtain plans, I'll just call them plans for now, at different ranks. Once you complete a mission, you can reap your rewards. But here's where the interesting thing comes in. In the Mobile Suit Lab, you can now combine whatever parts you got together, increasing their stats. Not only that, you can also take your plan that you've created with all those parts together and give them additional effects, like increasing your beam saber or your Muso gauge from there. Those take these other parts that you just get from playing the game. It's like split to like regular and then gold parts. You need these to be able to increase the level of these things. It's a whole system. I really like this system. It's like a good mix of what 2 started with but didn't really like get, and what 3 did really well and just mixed it together to create a really fun, interesting thing here. Pilots also no longer need to purchase, in money sense, brand new skills. Now, whenever you level up, you get new skills. However, to be able to use those skills, you need to use these things called team points, which you get from completing objectives in missions, and then using them to exchange for those skills, and then equipping those skills. You only have a certain amount of slots for those skills, but usually whatever skills you pick should hopefully be really good, right? And just like Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, this game lets you create your own build. You want a super tanky focused Gundam? You can have that, and also have a super speed focused Gundam, or a super attack focused. You can just equip whichever one you want, whenever you want, and I think that's awesome. But that's not the only thing that this game has, because it also has essentially a hard mode. I'm not exactly sure how you unlock it though. I never really got through the whole game. There's just so much content in this one, just like Gundam Warriors 3. But essentially what it is you can increase the star difficulty on missions, making them even harder, and then also the adjusted difficulty from easy, normal, and hard. But I think the more stars means the limited access to difficulty settings, so everything's on hard. But these do get super duper challenging, and I really like that this game is super challenging. I just don't like the early game and how easy it is, but the end game, that's where it gets good. Unfortunately though, I do have just one negative, and it's more so the visual department. Reborn leans back into like the realistic look that Gundam Warriors 1 and 2 had. No longer do we have that beautiful cel-shaded Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. Now everything looks more metallic, explosions bloom with that PS3 level flare, and the lighting is quite moody. While some of the anime charm is lost, the game does gain fidelity. Every beam effect, every thruster ignition, every burst charge is crisp. The UI is responsive, the frame rate is surprisingly steady. There are so many enemies on screen all at once. Like, it's crazy how little the frame drops. Maybe it's because I'm on an emulator because I don't own a PS3. Spoilers. But the game, is insane. I just want to mention again, there's so much going on in every mission. I don't know a single mission in the story mode where I didn't get close to or way past 1,000 kills. Oh my god. They just spawn enemies, and I think it's awesome. It's awesome. But what's most impressive, though, is how Reborn feels like a gift. The sheer amount of content, the missions, suits, variations, it all adds up to something that feels conclusive, final. Like the devs knew this would be the end and wanted to pack everything in. There's a joy in every absurd ultimate mode scenario, every partner Muso line, every squad development where you think, this shouldn't work, and then it does. Reborn respects the time you put in. It lets you chase mastery, but doesn't demand it. It lets you love the suits you love, even if they aren't meta. It lets you play your way. It's not perfect. Some cutscenes do look kinda stiff, some suits are shallow, and it doesn't have the narrative cohesion that Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 faction campaigns did, but what it lacks in story, it makes up for in spirit. Reborn is a celebration, not just of Gundam or Muso, or even of Bandai and Omega Force's collaboration, but of the fans. The people who grew up with Amuro and Char, who debated Seed versus Double O, who knew every funnel, saber, and beam rifle by heart. Not only that, but every single code for these Gundams. It's a messy, massive, and wonderful thank you to those people. And it really does show. And well, what better way to end a series than by giving players the keys to the hangar and saying, "Go nuts, sir. Fly on." And Reborn didn't just end the series. It finished it strong. And I don't really know what else to say. This game was absolutely incredible. So much better than what I thought it was gonna be. And wow, this was an awesome journey to go through. So thank you all for watching. These videos on the Gundam Warriors series really meant a lot to me, especially with the shocking amount of support that the Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 video had. Like, I was not expecting that. That blew up, and I'm so thankful for that. And I'm so thankful for you for watching this video, hopefully to the end. If you really enjoyed, please hit the like, and maybe subscribe, because I got more videos coming soon. I got a really big video that I've already been working on. While this video did take me quite a while, a lot's been going on with school and everything, but I really hope you guys do enjoy this one, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep those thrusters going, those beam sabers slashing, those blasters blasting, and those Zakus sliced in half. Until then, bye-bye.